I am the internet, and I like it when KSSU is on me.
Welcome, Matt and Tech Show, minus Tech Show. I am Matt, and that's all you're going to hear from today. Lot to talk about today on the show. Some good music, one brand new song, talking about some new vinyls I bought, some upcoming events and concerts, some news, some nerd news about science and asteroids. Yeah, and that's what we're gonna do today. First off, just yesterday, I went to the record store. I had a break between, I had work and then a hour and a half break, and then I had a meeting at work, so I didn't want to drive all the way home, so I hung out in Roseville and haven't gone to the record store in a couple weeks, so I went back and just browsed through every vinyl that they had, and got a good couple, two very older, not very old, but older records for about $2 each. This next song will be one of those, off one of my favorite science fiction films, 2001: A Space Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick. This is off the soundtrack. It's just an original, it's not an original score for the film. It was originally done by Richard Strauss, a composer. The song is called Also Sprach Zarathustra. It's a weird. And this is one of the most iconic sounds of the film or songs. And if you've ever seen the movie, and you ever hear the song afterwards, immediately comes to mind. It's nice. It's very short. We'll come back and talk about some more stuff. But this is from 2001: A Space Odyssey. This is the Matt and Tech Show. And that was a song. Also Sprach Zarathustra, off of the soundtrack for 2001: A Space Odyssey. One of my favorite films of all time. I actually have to write that's kind of in my head because I have to write a paper for my Hollywood class about a director. I'm a Hollywood director. I have to analyze 3 of his films or her films, and talk about kind of the message that appears in most of the films. And I'm doing Stanley Kubrick. One of those films I will do 2000. Actually, I'm still deciding which films I want to do. It's at the end of the month, so I should decide soon. But I have to figure out a main theme that Kubrick goes through. And so far, I'm thinking about he talks a lot about human nature, and in most cases, the bad side of human nature. With films like Full Metal Jacket, which is a Vietnam film. The Shining is a good one. Stephen King novel, The Shining, probably one of his other popular films. Another film that I really like, it's called Dr. Strangelove, or How I Stopped Learning to Hate the Bomb, it's a long title, short, called Dr. Strangelove, which is about nuclear holocaust. I told Tex to watch it; he hasn't seen it yet, and a couple other films. So that's kind of why 2001 was in my head, because I watched a documentary about Kubrick recently, and they played that a lot. So that was that. I also purchased another $2 album, a gently used vinyl from Dimple Records. This one is, didn't know, I wasn't looking for it. I just found it. I said, well, I like most of the songs on this album. This is by a band called Hall & Oates. I believe they're from the 80s, so probably one of the only good bands, if you would call them a good band, I don't know, out of the 80s or out of that decade. But this is a great album. My dad had it on CD, and whenever we drive to, as a kid, we'd drive to the dentist or go somewhere or something like that. He'd drive me somewhere. We'd always put Hall & Oates on. And a bunch of great songs on this album specifically. This is the album he had in CD. The song I want to play for you is Man Eater off this album. The album's called Rock and Roll Soul Part 1. I believe printed in like 86. Great song, great album. Check it out. We'll come back. We'll talk about some new music. Something about Dimples again, Dimple Records. But for now, it's Man Eater, Hall & Oates. Matt and Tech Show, KSU.com. That was Hall & Oates with Man Eater. This is the Matt and Tech Show minus Tech Show only on KSU.com. Like our page on Facebook, facebook.com/MattandTex, or twitter.com/MattandTex. don't have an Instagram, and I don't plan on getting it for the show, but I have one personally. In weather news, it's cold here in Sacramento. Probably a cold front coming in, but I think the rest of the week will be in. It should be really windy tomorrow, or a good amount of wind tomorrow, and then towards the end of the week we'll get about mid-high 80s, maybe for a couple minutes 90s in some areas. So spring's coming, or spring is here, and summer's coming. We're more than halfway through the semester, and I got a bunch of tests coming up and papers due, but it's rolling through, and then summer's coming. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. But actually, this past week, I guess I didn't know about it last week, but last Sunday I was hanging out with my friend. We were going through the creek. We were just fishing. We found these nice, it's like big old field of like flowers and bees and butterflies, and I've never been on this trail before, so we walked it and we kept going and we just kept walking, and we got to this area where we found these people in the distance, and we didn't really want to talk to them or get seen by them or anything like that. They didn't seem bad or anything. We just kind of want to have fun, so we crouched down, we hid through, and we jumped down to a lower part of the creek. And anyways, we couldn't make our way back up, so we had to find another way back to my house. So we walked through the creek, which was freezing, so we wanted to avoid that. Snow runoff from it, probably 40 degrees. So we hopped out again, and we found our way into some guy's farm, which was near our house, so we didn't want to be there too long, so we kind of quickly walked down there, and then we found an area to go down, and it was a very small, narrow patch. We had to hop through some roots, and I think in that area I brushed up against my worst nightmare, poison oak, which I am suffering now from all along my legs. It's very itchy, and it's you kind of just let it do its thing. You can only do so much to it. I'm using calamine lotion to stop the itching, but it's a weird, bloody, gross rash. It's fun. I've had it multiple times before. Probably the worst I've had it is currently. It's high up in my it's on my thigh and on my right calf. It's terrible. So I'm suffering through that. In further news, this year marks the 57th anniversary of the medium I know so well, VCR. VCR was developed 57 years ago. This year, I don't know exactly what day, maybe today, because YouTube is doing something special on their videos. There's a little button there that looks like a little tape, VCR tape. You click on that, and it turns the video into a VCR sort of style. It makes it all grainy and has that sort of static horizontal lines. It also does that sort of rotating where the image goes down and kind of rotates on the screen. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I did it when I did it actually for this video here. Daft Punk has a new song out called "Get Lucky" featuring Pharrell Williams. And when I was watching that video, I clicked it to see what happened, or to see what that was, because it was a new button there on the video monitor, and it did that VCR sort of style. So 57 years for that. YouTube's putting all the videos in that sort of style, I believe, for a day or two. But this is the video I found it on. It's called "Get Lucky," new from Daft Punk. Enjoy. Matt and Tech Show. "Get Lucky" featuring Pharrell Williams. That is Daft Punk off their new album, Random Access Memories. This is the Matt and Tech Show on casesu.com. Another album I purchased yesterday was an album I didn't think I'd like, a band called Grizzly Bear. I like one of their songs off their first album, but I wasn't impressed too much by the other songs on the album. This album I picked up here at the studio. We had it. Listened to it after listening to kind of all the songs on my way to work, driving to school. I really like most of the songs on the album, actually, so I decided to buy the vinyl when I saw it at Dimple Records, and this is one of the really good songs on it. Actually, I heard one of the songs when I'm working at Best Buy during the holiday season. There was we have TV monitors in the MP3 area, and on the TV they have like, what's coming out new for music or DVDs or from artists or special exclusives Best Buy have or something. And one of them was this song that would just, the beginning would play, like every 10 minutes this beginning would play, and that song would always get stuck in my head. I never knew who it was or what the song was called. And then on the monitor I finally looked at it, and it said Grizzly Bear, and I was like, what? No way. and then I finally figured out which the song was, and now I'm really enjoying that song. And then I started really enjoying the entire album. So this is one of those songs off the album, Sun in Your Eyes. The album is called Shields. It's been out for a couple months now, but it's still album I'm really enjoying. We'll do our commercial break after that, and then we'll come back and talk about some new NASA plans that are proposed in Obama's budget. We'll talk about that. Pretty exciting. And some other stuff that's going on. Grizzly Bear, this is Sun in Your Eyes on the Matt and Tech Show. Late Night by Foals off their new album Holy Fire. It's out. It's available now. Go buy it. It's a great sound. Foals will be in Sacramento playing 2 shows in one day on April 20th. First off, they'll be in Arden at the Arden Dimple Records, where they'll play a free show. Don't know if it's going to be indoors, outdoors, whatever, but they'll do a free show there, which I plan on going to if I don't have work. They'll also do signings, so they'll sign some stuff. I do have a decent-sized drumstick collection, and though they're not known for their drums, adding a stick, if I can get them all to sign it, would be pretty cool. They'll be there, I believe, at 2 p.m. at the Dimple Records in Arden. They'll also be at the Ace of Spades in Sacramento downtown, playing a non-free show, $20 I think for tickets. I have mine, and Trevor, executive producer, has his. We'll be there. Show starts at 7, couple opening bands. Should be fun. Yeah. That's the Foals. Next up, we're running out of time. Next up, I'll skip this song. Yeah. Real quick, no, we'll talk about this now. So NASA, Obama made his budget. He has a budget proposal. In that budget, he gave $100 and some odd million additional to NASA's budget in 2014. His hope is that we can capture an asteroid. So here's how it breaks down. By 2016, NASA hopes to select an asteroid to capture. By 2019, they hope to have this asteroid in our range. And actually, 2016 we'll choose an asteroid to capture. By 2019, they actually want to capture that asteroid and bring it towards Earth. And by 2021, they actually want to touch down or set foot with astronauts on this foreign body. The idea is to choose a rock about 25 feet in diameter, roughly from 500 to 1,000 tons. Nothing more, because anything greater could be hazardous to Earth if, for whatever reason, it does get out of the orbit, or we somehow lose control of this asteroid flying towards Earth. If it hits our atmosphere, it'll simply break apart without hurting anyone on Earth. The idea is that NASA wants to, in a sense, lasso. A lot of news agencies are saying lasso. I don't know where they come in with lasso, but they want to capture this asteroid and actually put it in orbit around the moon. So have it orbit around the moon. Their hope is, because of some recent asteroid impact over Russia in February, that was about 50 feet in diameter. Their hope is to learn more about asteroids and how we can prevent further disaster. By capturing this asteroid, we can learn a lot about how to grab a hold of an asteroid and therefore push away an asteroid, and the effects and the science that is needed to do sort of things like that. And once it's in orbit, we're going to have astronauts on there testing all that sort of stuff. And there's also been some reports that some third-party companies, or even NASA themselves, could mine this asteroid. Asteroids have a large amount of rare earth metals. That's mainly where our rare earth metals came from on Earth, are from asteroids and comets. And asteroids and comets are a big nugget of these rare earth metals and components, and water. There's a lot of water on them, gold, and I think even some diamond stuff like that. But which it could be millions and billions of dollars for any potential investor that wants to send some mining crew to an asteroid. So that should be cool. We'll see if Congress passes that budget. It's adding a couple hundred, or actually the proposal is a couple $1 billion for NASA in the span of the mission until 2021. We'll see if Congress passes that. So write your congressman, tell him you want more funding for NASA. Until then, we'll play this next song. We'll play 2 more songs and we'll be out of here. This song, just a song I really like. Haven't heard it in a while and I want to play it for you. It's an older song by the Kooks. It's called Naive and I love it. Matt and Tech Show. We'll come back, play one more song, and we'll leave. KSSU.com. Naive from the Kooks. One more song for you here on the Matt and Tech Show. This is from M83, I think a solo man band. M83 was drafted to be the composer for the new Tom Cruise film, Oblivion, which looks pretty interesting. Comes out this Friday. M83 is on the score. If you've heard him before, a lot of the songs on his albums are very cinematical, if that's a word, and epic, and conveys a lot of emotion and pictures in your head. We'll play one more song, and that is from M83 off his most recent album, I believe, Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. Kind of fits the album as a whole. This song is called Outro. Fits perfectly because this is our last song. We'll see you next week. Matt and Tech Show live every Monday at 3 o'clock. Stream our radio show, KSSU.com, or on the TuneIn Radio app. Go to our Facebook page and find all the live recordings, facebook.com/MattandTex. Like our page. This is Outro, M83. We'll see you next week. Bye.